I'm just going to run through my story and career so far. Hopefully you can pick up some advice and things from that. So my fun fact, I'm second in the world for games played on Xbox, over 11,000 games. So I didn't go to university. I don't have a diploma or anything like that in game design, but I've played a lot, and that's what sort of steers my decision making. I'm quite involved in the game preservation scene. I'm saddened every time we read about things that are getting lost, digital games, things on Steam, things on Xbox and PlayStation, and especially like live service games. And I really want to be part of this movement to archive our history. And touching on VR, the old DK1 and DK2 demos are getting lost to time. There are some people who are trying to archive these. You still need original hardware to play them. There's no emulators to play them on modern headsets. If anyone wants to help out with that initiative. Some more game preservation stuff. Xbox got in touch a couple of weeks ago and implemented one of my fixes to bring some more games back online. So I started in, not in VR, but in social gambling, where I learned all of the disciplines, and I got a really good mentor early on who still advises me to this day, and learned about retention hooks and conversion, and the power of people watching a number go up and how much they'll spend on that happening. Spent 12 months on games that got cancelled. One of them died and became Monopoly Go and shattered all revenue records after I left. I'm really happy for the team. But so the reason I put that in is to take that as a learning experience. It's very painful to watch a project that you put hours into and late nights and lots of teamwork and problem solving, and then it never gets to see the light of day. But to take that pain, if I want to put it that way, and when you start the next project from day one, you put that extra boost in and use it as energy to get it out to the world. So what did I learn from the failed projects? Well, I wouldn't say failed, but they never shipped. Laser focus on the core loop first. Don't worry about anything else, marketing or creative direction. Get something that's fun, prototyped quickly and in front of as many people as possible. Once you nail that, it's an added bonus if you've got something original. Then you can start building up the layers and the creative direction, which is also not a one-way door. You can pivot on that. Your target market, marketing, the gamification layers, and then you go from there. Best ideas born from bad ideas. Get the bad ideas out of the way quickly. And do not silo yourself. Another early mistake in my career was ignoring meetings, sat in Figma, trying to figure out things on my own. Whereas as soon as you start getting into a room and bouncing ideas around, they're solved like 10 times as quick. I like to go through gaming history. 1987, Midnight Resistance. Anybody remember that? Commodore 64. It's a good one. I learned that things can be extremely difficult and still fun. So not even making it out of the first level and playing that on repeat can still be like a fun experience. 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Hands up, anyone remember that one? Taught me about colour. If you're a fan of that game, how vibrant it was. Used the whole colour palette across all the zones. The music was incredible from the Yamaha chip. And just, yeah, it's really like burned into my memory. And now I've got a 3-year-old who's started to pick up my hobby. Well, he sits on my lap and we'll play games together. And yeah, it's really like reignited the feeling of like why I got into it. Just the things he says and picks up on in the games. Like he comes up with ideas. Like we were playing this Froggy Hates Snow, and he asked why the frog doesn't have a girlfriend, why he can't get in the boat and like sail away. So he was actively thinking about, he wasn't just going along with what was on the screen, he was trying to pick out things that he wanted to do. I just think that feeling of like discovery and wanting to do things was really cool. So I reached out to the developer and they got back and said they might try and get it in for him. 1994, Doom multiplayer, playing in a church hall with a load of other people, was just a mind-blowing experience of, more than 2 players, all having your own screen and playing together was just, had a real effect on me. 2007 BioShock, the way that they set the atmosphere and the vibe and the storytelling, I'd never seen anything like it before. That got me to really make a decision to try and get into the industry. So 2017, fast forward a bit, that was backstage at Gamescom 2 years before the release of Beat Saber, with the 2 co-founders there who've since took the Meta money and left. And then that was the defining moment for me to get into virtual reality. So got a job at FitXR when it was 15 people and it was a $30 boxing game. In my 3 years that I was there, we transitioned it to a subscription fitness app that had a whole range of studios, 100,000 subscribers, #1 grossing app on the MetaQuest store. We scaled up to 100 people, got over 20 million in VC funding. Total whirlwind, learned, and I went on from lead game designer to product manager, and we shipped this.
Come on, lift that leg. One more time.
That's when the Meta money was flowing. So that campaign, it was part of, there was 3 games involved, Beat Saber and I forget the third one, but it was possibly, but it was $2.5 million, shot in Mexico. I was on calls with the director and like wanted to know about the vibe, about the game and everything. Crazy times. Yeah, top grossing. So commercial success, and I'd finally seen something out into the world, or the team had. Really good feeling. And then players started sending in testimonials. I've lost 4 stone, I've lost 5 stone, you've changed my life. I've never done fitness before this. I've never stepped foot in a gym, but because I've got the headset and I'm in the safety of my own home. Like literally adding years to these people's lives. And then that was like a moment where I thought, it's not just, making fun games that passes the time. You can actually have like real impact on people's lives with software. Then I left FitXR, took my shares, and then I reached out to Mikkel. I still won't try and pronounce his second name. He's Austrian. Geschwantner. Well done. He was CTO at XR Workout, which were an up and coming competitor to FitXR. And he was like a total wizard. He just like thought outside the box. He was like, he's really good like hacking the hardware and making it do things that it shouldn't do. But they had no funding, so everything was bootstrapped. They were like basically getting the meta revenue every month, and everyone was, you know, taking a slice. But our vision was, instead of curated content from fitness trainers, which is what the FitXR and Supernatural another FitXR story. So Meta, when they were buying up studios, they wanted a fitness studio and they wanted to decide between us and Supernatural. Supernatural had better licensed music and slightly better visuals. They decided on Supernatural, $440 million, and then we were left to be the competition. But that is me with Mikkel in San Fran with the two guys from FitXR. We got together at a conference thing. So some world firsts that I achieved with Mikkel, to try and get, because we were trying to get attention and virality through technical advancements rather than spending money on marketing. So we're the first app to do external foot tracking with no hardware foot trackers. It used the camera on the mobile phone, and you placed it in front of you. It generated a skeleton on the mobile phone, and it sent it over UDP to the browser. And it worked incredibly well. And we did a whole foot tracking series of classes and shipped those. They were really successful. And then you get the idea. Now, this seems quite rudimentary now, but it was at a time when processing the pass-through feed was locked down by Meta because of privacy concerns, and the risk in their eyes of someone going out and making a nude filter or a bikini filter, which has now happened with Descartes. So check out Descartes, it's pretty good. So Mikkel was bouncing ideas around about how to achieve it, and we did it by, when you cast to a browser, it sends the pass-through feed. It doesn't black it out like when you record natively. So we essentially casted to the Quest itself into a Vuplex web view window. And then we converted that to a Unity texture, and then we could read the texture and essentially read the pass-through feed. And then we installed a local object detection model that had like 3,000 items, including banana and plant pot. And then it could do object detection. So yeah, it got really good virality from that. We got featured on Upload VR. A lot of developers we made like a mini competition out of it to guess how we did it. And then Meta got in touch off the back of that. And they flew us out to Reality Labs HQ in San Fran with about 20 other developers. Yeah, I'm just thinking, so I'll pick out some advice from that, is just to like think about virality and how to get attention. And then if you can get on side with the platform holders like Steam and Meta, then it could open up other opportunities. Branding, we did a full rebrand. It's quite cheap. Empower users to make content, but also be rewarded for it. We were pitching ourselves as like the Roblox of fitness, so letting people make their own fitness classes. But we didn't want to fall into that trap of Roblox getting that negative attention about child labour, about getting a decent revenue cut. So yeah, cautious, but it can be very powerful. So when we went to San Fran, this was before they shut all the studios, and they essentially stood at the front and said, premium AAA, that strategy isn't working. We can't subsidize these studios any longer, but free-to-play games with cosmetics for sale, kind of like what happened in mobile, like the early iPhone days. They were trying to sell the games, and now it's all free-to-play with microtransactions. So they stood at the front and essentially said, pivot to this, or make worlds for Horizon Worlds. And there was an audible gasp from the audience. Because I mean, some of the people in there were 6 months deep into a AAA, $30 premium, and they knew that it wasn't going to do well. So, and we all know what happened to Horizon Worlds. That's now dead on Quest. But I think both of those things, the Horizon Worlds being killed and having these AAA studios subsidized by Meta not being a thing anymore, is good for everybody else. It opens up the possible revenue for independent developers. So Jamsesh, 15 minutes on Jamsesh. Arthur reached out, was an old financial guy from FitXR, and he reached out to Ted, excellent engineer from FitXR, who I spent all the 3 years with, and he built Hit with me. Guy from New Zealand, very strong Unity engineer. And Arthur saw his daughter singing in the mirror with a hairbrush, and he immediately thought of playing SingStar all those years ago in a living room with people doing local multiplayer. And he wanted to bring that feeling back to VR. So we immediately started work on Jamsesh last September, and we're about to launch early access next Friday. We have drums and guitar working. Voice is 50% there, vocals, and then we're going to do keys. But the plan is free to play, really go heavy on instrument skins and avatar skins. So we've partnered with Genies. So this is a good example of timing being like just weirdly good. So the week that we needed to decide on the avatar system, we got a heads up, I think 2 weeks before the press release, that Ready Player Me were being bought by Netflix, and it was not going to be a thing for VR games anymore. And also that because Meta were shutting Horizon Worlds, they were also cancelling the Meta avatar system. And we reached out to Genies, and they were doing all the right things for cosmetics pipeline. And we've got some really cool stuff planned for that. There's the team, Arthur, Julie, and Ted at the back. So talk a bit about how I have embraced AI. Hands up, anyone's got Claude Max or Codex? Need covered there. So I'm not a coder, but I'm now building the entire UI in Claude using Vuplex WebView. I can push to GitHub and it appears in the game. I don't even need to build a fresh APK. It's all live. It's unbelievable. Like going from designing the UI in FitXR and how many months that was doing it with Unity native, and like I need a button moving over and getting the engineer to do the thing, and now I can just do it all myself, is very empowering. Vuplex is it's just a WebView plugin, but it's the best one. It's cool because on Claude I can say I'm using this plugin, it's limited to Chromium version 91, it can't do this CSS effect, and it like sets out a whole set of rules, makes it all compliant. It's 2K res, and we're running it on composition layer. It's not to toot my own horn, it's the sharpest UI I've seen on Quest. So some assets, a lot of Nano Banana, a lot of, we've got codecs. So we got early seed investment from a company called Antler. They're kind of like an incubator, A16Z sort of UK. But as part of that, we got $5,000 codecs credits, $5,000 OpenAI. And I was 3 days token maxing with Fable 5. It was really cool. Yeah, some more UI, early access next Friday. So yeah, another cool thing about TED, I don't have to do any drawings or game design documents. I can hold a plastic guitar, show him what I want, and he builds it.
What if your band logo came from the world around you? Jamsesh just dropped an XR band logo generator that uses pass-through to capture real-life objects, sketches, anything in your space. Type in your band name and it creates a bunch of logos to choose from. Pick your favourite and it instantly appears on your drums and stage. Follow for more updates and join the Jamsesh community.
So more pass-through callbacks there. We did that for a meta contest. That's where we got investment. Yeah, they want 50-50 rev, which I'm fine with, but then they want a cut of the cosmetics as well, which I'm not happy with. But yeah, sorry, that was rushed. And that's the story. Hopefully we can be a success. Thanks for listening.